afraid of the dark?
Hello, my listeners. Before I start, as usual, thank you for your support and please subscribe to the channel if you like our stories. Today I'm going to tell you 3 real stories about school lockdowns due to emergencies. These horrific incidents show people's fears, insecurities, and bravery. Let's go. It was a typical Friday in a calculus class, with the week almost over and spring break on the horizon. The class was getting restless, especially since there was no test that day, unlike their friends in other classes. Their laid-back teacher decided to play games with them on sparkle.com. As they were doing a brand logo quiz, something unexpected happened. In the middle of the quiz, the dean's panicked voice came through the loudspeaker, instructing all teachers to go into lockdown. The usually calm teacher rushed to turn off the lights and usher everyone to the back corner of the room. They sat in silence. The usual buzzing from a panel in the back of the room ceased, indicating that the school had cut the power. A few minutes later, they heard a man screaming at the top of his lungs in the hallway. As he came closer, banging on the lockers and shouting threats, the fear in the classroom escalated. The man then started banging on their classroom door, screaming for them to open up. The terrified students sat in silence, fearing for their lives. After what felt like an eternity, the man eventually moved down the hallway, his screams fading away. The dean returned to the loudspeaker, explaining that a mentally unstable person had entered the building, assaulted the front desk staff, and fled. The school, lacking cameras and proper security at the time, was vulnerable to such incidents. A sweep of the hallways and classrooms failed to locate the intruder, and teachers were instructed to resume teaching while keeping their doors locked. The most disturbing part of this story came later when, according to rumors, a janitor working the night shift found the man sleeping in a storage closet with a .44 Magnum sticking out of his pocket. The janitor's actions inadvertently woke the man, and by the time a police officer arrived, he had disappeared. To this day, the students don't know if he was ever found, but they hope he received the help he needed. It was lunch period, and the day was overcast and rainy. During the first lunch period, 4 loud booms echoed through the school. While some thought it was thunder, the campus security sprang into action, ushering everyone into the multi-purpose room. As the curtains were drawn and adults guarded each exit, one of my friends asked an adult what was happening. It turned out that there was a mentally disabled man barricaded in front of a nearby house, threatening to commit suicide and kill the cops if he was evicted. This man, a registered sex offender, had been walking around outside the school watching the students. We were stuck in the multi-purpose room for an entire hour, taking up 2 periods. After the situation was resolved, we were escorted back to our classrooms. Later, I found out that this man lived next door to one of my friends, who shared a disturbing story about the previous Halloween when she saw him cutting his arm and writing in his own blood on the window. It was a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurked beyond the school walls, and we were grateful he never got near us. I'm a recent college graduate who landed a job as a computer intern in the basement of my old high school. The basement is messy and disorganized, but there's a nice little office with satisfying air conditioning and all the school servers. I got the job thanks to my close relationships with my former computer teachers, who are now my colleagues. However, a few weeks ago, something terrifying happened. During my lunch break, I was alone in the office when I received a phone call from the front office informing me that the school was on lockdown due to a possible armed intruder. With no actual door to the office and a non-working lock on the basement door, I turned off the lights and huddled in the dark, texting my coworkers, Dave and Gary, who weren't responding. I sat there, playing games on my phone and waiting for an update. Suddenly, I heard footsteps approaching the office. I crawled under my desk, fearing for my life. A man entered the office but didn't turn on the lights. In the silence, I could feel my heart pounding. Then, my phone dinged, and I received a text from Dave, revealing that the intruder was wearing a red shirt and a hat and was armed with a gun. As I looked up, I realized the man standing in the office matched the description. Panicking, I scrambled out from under the desk and ran upstairs, a gunshot echoing through the basement. Fortunately, I made it safely, and the police were waiting at all exits. The intruder, who had a personal dispute with one of the teachers, was apprehended, and the teacher survived the gunshot wound. These three stories showcase the unpredictable and frightening nature of school lockdowns, where students and staff must rely on their training and instincts to stay safe. It's a reminder that schools are not immune to outside threats, and the impact of these incidents can leave lasting trauma.